Hi, it's Thad at Willoway. I'm talking today about a little bit more on fall color or fall blooming plants. We have Buddleia. This is Miss Violet from Proven Winners. As you can see, it's bud and bloom. We've done a lot. This was a crop we grew to have ready this time of year. And one of the important things is just know that it's really starting to. A lot of the Buddleia that's natural season is much more bloomed out at this point. But this is a great plant because it just continues to get color and color. You can trim this back and get it to reflush again. It does take several weeks to get back into blooming again. You're about 5 weeks or so at this time of year. But a great plant for the garden. Lots of attraction of pollinators. So you get a lot of butterflies, obviously, but we see lots of bees. We see moths, all kinds of different insects on these plants. So a really nice plant to consider. There's the Pugster series, which is a dwarf. There's some larger ones like Dark Night that we carry, which are real large. They'll get 5-6 feet tall, really large flowers. So a great plant to have out in the garden or in your garden center so that you have color this time of year to bring people in. Hi, we're out talking about some fall blooming plants. Campsis radicans, Sunrise Gold is a really nice one. We have Atomic Red as well. Real nice color here. As you can see, really big flowers. Not the old trumpet vine that you maybe remember as a kid growing up. Really nice, comes on a trellis already. We kind of weave it in, tie it to it. So these are ready to go. We've got a nice selection here. Just kind of along our theme with color here in summer, going into fall. Here, Miracle on the Hudson Rose. You can see just really nice color. We got a really nice crop here that's just starting to come into bloom. So real great plant, good resistance. Lots of color will bloom all the way up till basically frost. So great plant to look at, Miracle on the Hudson Rose. And wanted to talk a little bit about some perennials that get fall color that really display nice. This Helenium, this one's Sombrero, it's yellow. There's also a couple other varieties that we carry that have more of reds in them and orange. So those are nice varieties to look at, but really want to just show how much this is just starting to get started. You can just see, it reminds me a lot of like a fall blooming Gaillardia, where Gaillardia in the summer just keeps blooming and blooming and blooming. This is another one that's like that, just keeps coming all through the fall here. So really nice plant. If you've never written Helenium, take a look at it. Something you might want to add a lot of color to your landscape. All right, last but not least is Little Susie Rebeckia. I wanted to talk about this. This is a great plant for border or mass planting. Even individually, you see it's a really nice plant. Being it's a little bit smaller in stature, it's less likely to flop and just give you continuous blooming all the way from now, midsummer, all the way through till frost. So a great choice. Lots of pollinators, usually it's pretty active here as well. Good resistance to most things. So in the landscape, does like it a little bit drier. So you don't want to get this in a place where it's going to be shady or wet. So real full sun does really well with them. Cuts back to the ground basically. So great choice, Rebeckia Little Susie. Talking a little bit about growing degree days. We're at 2312 right now. We've just passed up at about 2250 would be your euonymus scale, the second generation hatch. So you can still go out there and look for that. It would be on the hind end of that particular one, but we're coming into the twilight for second generation of Japanese maple scale. So that one you're going to watch for. That one is a little bit tricky because they're very hard to see when they're in small populations. It's like a white fleck that's about half the size of a grain of rice, and you want to be looking out towards the stems or right around the nodes within. They tend to stay tight in those crotches as well as real low populations. So be watching for that. Japanese maples are obviously a host. Serviceberry can be a host, Amelanker, but there's a number of other ones out there that can be a host for this as well. So be watching for that.